Here's the most amazing thing about immigration. You can take a person from a very poor country who is eking out a living, dollar a day income, move them to a rich country, and overnight, that person suddenly can easily be making 20 or 30 times as much money as they were back home. What's so amazing about this? Well, if they were earning what they were worth back home, how can what they are worth in their new country suddenly be so much larger? Right? It is a great mystery. Like, how could this really be? Now, if you've ever studied any economics, what you'll know is that the reason why people pay some people more money than others is because of productivity. The reason why Tom Cruise makes many millions of dollars per movie is because Tom Cruise brings so much to the table. Whereas the extra in that movie, the movie will go on without him just as well. Almost as well. All right, now what's going on with immigration? It seems like you can move someone from one country to another and you can dramatically increase their productivity. And that is in fact the very thing that we see. This is really obvious in something like agriculture. You can take someone who is working on a subsistence farm in Mexico, move them to a modern US agribusiness, and guess what? Suddenly you can see they can grow 5 or 10 times as much food as they did back home. Right? The same human being, by virtue of moving from one country to another, suddenly is able to get 5 or 10 times as much done. Same thing goes obviously for manufacturing too. You can take someone who's doing primitive home production in a less developed country, move them to a modern factory, suddenly their productivity goes through the roof. Even for something like services, shining shoes or mowing lawns, it might seem like that's no different in a rich country than a poor country, but it really is, and here's why. When you are doing a service, the real thing you're providing is saving the time of the person you do the service for. All right. So when you go to a rich country, you're saving the time of someone whose time is worth more. When you save 5 minutes of Bill Gates' time, that's a lot better than saving 5 minutes of my time. The upshot of all this is that merely by letting a person move from a poor country to a rich country, you aren't just going and enriching that person, you are enriching humanity. You are taking a person who previously was only giving the world a small fraction of their talent and turning them to someone who was able to realize, if not all their talent, at least much more of it. How by virtue of simply taking them from an unproductive country to a more productive country. Now, if you're wondering, like, how can this be? How can this be? Like, why is it that a Haitian is so much more productive in Miami than he is in Haiti? And the short answer is, well, why wouldn't he be? Haiti has so many problems, so many disadvantages compared to the United States. So you're going to have, of course, problems with disease, right? There's going to be worse problems in Haiti with disease. The workers might be poorly fed. But you also have things like infrastructure, technology, business management, just being near the right customers. All these things, you put them together and you see that is why there are all these gains. And that is why when you step back, you really have to wonder, why is immigration so unpopular? Why is it so unpopular when it seems to be this almost foolproof way to take a person and make them able to contribute so much more to the world, in the process not only enriching themselves, but humanity as a whole?